Go.
Hi everybody, this is Susan from susanspapercrafts.blogspot.com, and I'm here with another video on my scrapbook pages for my trip to Disneyland. And I'm just going to show you some of my layouts. I'm continuing to use the Mickey and Friends cartridge, and I'm using my background papers for the most part from this paper pad, Life's Little Occasions designer papers from K & Company, and it's an older stack. I got it at Joann's. You can see here, I'm going to open this, oops, sorry. I'm going to open this up, and you can see that I outlined everything in black, and if you've seen some of the other videos I've done in this series, they're all the same, so they've all been outlined in black. I cut this 1/4 inch smaller on the black mat, the background here, and this blue background with the kind of like starburst came from the paper pad that I showed you earlier. Okay, this one is all about Donald and Daisy, obviously, Donald, Daisy. And I cut here at the bottom, I used a I used a embossing folder. This one was from Paper Studio, and it was on their blocks, and I actually used the de-embossed pieces. And this one, unfortunately, doesn't have that cut at the top like on some of the newer Cuttlebug folders. So for me to be able to get a 12-inch strip, I had to fold it. And then I tried to cover over where the folds were to really, camouflage it. I don't know how well I did with that, but anyway, that was my thinking. So this ship here, Donald ship, is cut at 7 inches. And you can see I used royal blue, a little darker green like sea foam, and then white, orange, yellow colors, all bright primary colors. Donald's name was cut at, I believe it was at 1 inch. I'm kind of flipping through my Gypsy to be able to see what some of these things were, because I made some changes. I'm sure you guys know how that goes, as I was going along saying, it needs a little something more. Okay, I'm not seeing it right off, so I'm just going to move on, but I believe this was like 1 inch for the Donald. Then I cut these mats. This came from, again, the Mickey and Friends. So I cut the mats. And if you see that they look like kind of, they taper in a little bit. That's how they are on the cartridge, okay? So that was not something that I tried to do separate or something that was cut wonky. That was actually how it was designed to be cut. And I really think they're kind of cute, honestly. This one here was done at 7.5 inches, the red. And then it was cut, the white one was cut at 7 1/4. Okay, so 7.5, 7 1/4. Then I cut the anchor here, and that is 2.5 inches, and I did all layers. Did the shadowed, so it's the shadowed in black, and then red and yellow, which is what shows here in the manual. And I really did like the way that looked. I did a smaller one done here, and I believe this was done at like 1.5 inches. And then a journal mat over here. And again, the journal mat was the same style as these photo mats. The waves come from Pack Your Bags. Okay. Or it might have been Life's the Beach. Sorry, guys. I'm not sure. And they were done in the light sea foam and the darker sea foam. All right. The Donald was cut at 4.5 inches. And as sure as you can see here, I love my Cricut, and I love doing layered images, and I love having kind of Cricut heavy layouts. So if you go, hey, what's up with that? Well, it's just my preference. It's what I like to do. So anyway, he was cut at 4.5. Daisy was also cut at 4.5. And her handbag was an accessory that I cut, okay? And I think that was cut at 2 inches, and I also cut the shadow for that handbag, all right? And you can see it was done in the pink. So I had done Donald, and I really thought just I was going to do a 1-page for him, and then I decided, you know, I might like to have a daisy layout too. So again, I'm sure you guys have done this too. As you're starting to do your layout, it starts to evolve, and you think, yeah, I might want to expand it. So that's what I did in this instance. And so she's cut out the 4.5, like I said, an accessory of the purse. And then these shopping bags, those were also an accessory. And then I did a real small, I think this was a 1 inch, or it might have been 3/4 of an inch minky head that I put on these shopping totes. Okay, and then over here, these bright colors, but I thought coordinated nicely with this. This is like a, I would say like a tropical pink, and then this more like a fuchsia purple mats. They were the same mats as I used on the Donald layout. These mats were at, I believe, 5.5 inches each. Daisy was cut at, I think it was 3 inches, and I'll see if I can quickly find that. If I can't, that was my guesstimate though as to what that size was. Yep, 3 inches, okay? And I will tell you, as you, when you work with some of the older cartridges on the layering techniques, how they're laid out by the designers, I think they've really improved over time. While I love all my Disney cartridges, I will tell you that this one just layered up. It was just a little bit more complicated than some of the newer things, like, let's say, like Teddy Bear Parade, you know, which is awesome, just how it layers. Okay, and the last thing here was the kind of signpost here. And I want to give a shout out to my husband on this one. I had originally had it kind of over here on this side, and again, trying to cover up the fold mark. And I thought, well, you know, it doesn't work. And he's like, no, that's not looking good. Okay, and I know a lot of you gals from listening on the web, or guys anyway, have asked another person to say, what's your opinion on this? So it always helps to get other views, I think, on layouts. And ultimately, I make the decision for my layouts, and I'm sure you do the same. But anyway, he was right. It really was too crowded over where it was. So I moved it over. And then I tried out my new Cricut gel pens and their little gel pen holder. And I actually cut, using my Gypsy, but you could do it with Cricut Craft Room too. I put the phrase Minnie and the phrase Donald in each one of those sign accents, okay? And I outlined it then in this blue glitter pen. And I thought it turned out nice. But when I showed Dennis, he was like, you know, it still needs a little something. And he was right. It did need a little something. So, Stickles to the rescue. I used the Starry Night Stickles, and I just filled in those letters. And I think it really did add something. And I put a clear gemstone there as an accent point. So that's this, and only one more video to show the last page, and that's as far as I've gotten for layouts. So I hope you're enjoying my Disney layouts, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.